and rising, but also if you have a third house sun or a third house stellium, or you're just here listening and in here for the shenanigans and once in a while the little nuggets of advice that apply to everybody or the collective messages. Like if you're here, hang out. The community is amazing here. And we're going to look into, yes, we're going to look into 2023, but we're kind of looking at how the year starts. I don't want to be too vague and try to do just the whole year, because the energies can change so much. And oh my lord, are the astrological energies intense, especially for Gemini. You've had that uh, Mars in Gemini since the end of August, and it will remain there until almost the end of March, and it's in retrograde. It feels very messy, especially for Gemini moons. It can feel a little messy. And it's like 52 card pickup. It just feels like everything is a little messy right now, and that is because my Gemini loves, you are supposed to be able to know what all the cards are on the table. So when Gemini goes direct on January 12th, you kind of have all the information to move forward, advocate, negotiate, and litigate for yourself. So I'm so happy you're here. I hope you are all continuing to have like moments of joy and moments with your family that you're really enjoying over the holidays. Hello. Yeah. It can feel, if it doesn't already feel great for the Gemini's moons, I feel like that's so. A little interesting fact. Annika just said that she's having her Mars return in Gemini. So that natal placement for you doesn't make you feel as out of pocket and out of place and as everyone else. It's going to feel like a homecoming. Yeah, like everybody get on my level, right? Because this is something that you have, and also because of your other placements and because of the astrological chronological transits you've already had, you know, it, it is get on your level. So so the interesting part is that for other people it feels a little messier. um you're so used. I have made jokes and I've even posted memes. If you're not following me on Instagram, I wish I could say I post daily. I don't post daily either on TikTok, but I do post. And a lot of times on Instagram, it's kind of like the supportive motivational BS. And sometimes it's like really important motivational just reminders of your boundaries, your self-worth. That's my Instagram is probably like let's all be honest and then talk about the honesty of how things feel instead of pretending or blaming other people. And where to draw boundaries and all that good stuff. But I used to have a meme that I would go up, and it was everybody else like just freaking out on a roller coaster and the guy in the front seat like, and it says when everybody's going through cataclysmic changes, but that's what your natal placement, like that's what your birth chart looks like anyway. It's like, oh, I get that. But just remember that from January 12th then till almost the end of March, you have way better chance for things to go your way. Way better chance. I know I'm taking a small break and will be traveling with my two kids the second week of January, like in 2 weeks from now. I'm only taking a few days off, like not a lot. But I know that I better go do that now, because if I don't, once that Mars direct hits my MC and hits my Mercury again, I'll be busy. Like I was eating I think I was eating Mexican food while in the tub with my laptop, because I would have to stack my tasks. I was so busy when it was direct the first time. And then it went into retrograde. and I got sick and things got slow. Astrology doesn't lie. I do believe Mars at the moment, I want to say it's like 10 or 11 degrees. Because it'll hit that as we get closer. I want to say it's probably 10 if it's not just went into, because the closer it gets to that 8 degrees where it's going to turn around, when planets turn around, it's like a really big giant boat in the water. It turns slowly. So the closer it gets to 8 degrees, it's going to stay a little longer at 10 and a little longer at 9, and then a very long time at 8, both in retrograde and direct, and then move back onto 9. And not till 10 does it pick up speed. And then we go from, I want to say somewhere around the 16th or the 17th. Once then it's going to pick up some more speed and be done in 5 weeks after that. So, ooh. All right. So, Gemini, we're doing this. If you've never been at one of my full readings before, we are doing this. I like that for you. We are doing this how I normally do this. However, we are going to do a more intense, thorough, more clarification, and we're looking into the first 3 months. Oh, wow. Anybody with Aries placements out there, congratulations. Jupiter is in your sign. And I gotta tell you, it's not there for a long time like it was with Pisces, back and forth. It's there for a good time. So take advantage of any kind of Jupiterian luck, expansion, or anything that you have available to you now. Oof. We go over the first row is you, your energy, past, present, and future. What's available, we'll be looking at like 3 months from now. The row on the other side of the table is other. Other can be potential partner, past partner, present partner, situation at work, situation with in-laws, just person on your mind, whatever other energy is affecting you and engaging with your energy the most. For some of you, you're like, that's like 4 things, Susie. And I totally get that. The center row is past, present, future of the energy that's created the alchemy of these 2 energies. Alchemy is important, right? There's a saying, to every energy creates, to every action creates an equal reaction. I don't think it's equal. I think everybody's where they're at. And that's important to know. So kind of feeling around the energy that they create together is a little important. Now, I kind of don't love the Emperor because he's a little full of himself. I love this Emperor. You're like Queen of Pentacles. I love. There's one deck I don't love, the Queen of Pentacles. She just came out for the last reading, but it was good. That she needed to be exactly what she was for that reading. This Emperor, I love him. Look at him with his little branch mustache and his flowers all over. He's trying to build something. He's not an emperor for ego. He's an emperor to leave a legacy. This is like straight up Capricorn energy. We are in Capricorn season. Mercury retrograde went into effect in Capricorn today. We also have Venus conjunct Pluto in retro. I mean, There's a lot of Capricorn energy right now, and it is in conjunct your sign, but yet it's present. Gemini, this is you right now, not wanting to be. Something has happened in the last week, month, year. It's like no longer wanting to be the passenger in the vehicle that seems to be driving your life. This is about really wanting um, to be more in charge, but not in a steamroll other people kind of way. Something has happened that really is just, there's a proactive energy with you, Gemini. Rise to the occasion is honestly what I keep hearing. And you have. This isn't about how you look making these changes to other people. It's not even, Gemini isn't so much like a people pleaser as it depends on their other placements, whether they've been made to feel like they have to conform instead of embracing their duality, to make other people more comfortable with their existence, with their personality, with their choices, whatever. This Emperor card and this energy that's most recently affected you, and again, it could have been the energy for the last year. This is about not only rising to the occasion, but not doing it for the wrong reason. This is not about acting a certain way so it leaves a certain impression because it's just what you need for survival right now. I'm going to say that again because I feel like that's going to hit home for some people. And I know there's very little people in the live chat right now, but if you're watching this in replay, I really want you to hear this. This is not about acting a certain way because you know people are watching and you are in survival mode. This is not about creating the appearance of being in charge or being okay or being stable. It's not about the appearance of it. It's actually being it and not doing it out of survival. Not doing it for the wrong reasons, not doing it because other people are watching, doing it because there has been something that has moved you to this place. And it feels like there's other people involved that you are. I don't want to say it's ever been selfish because I don't feel like that. I feel like it's been maybe a little bit of survival and doing the best, a little bit of scrambling. I feel like now is like all of a sudden eyes wide open. I'm setting the example for other people. Like I've been living my life. This is just coming in so clean and so clear and so strong right now in this moment. I've been living my life because of other people that have been watching me, that are just watching to judge. And now I am living my life because there are maybe little ones or other people that are struggling like you, whatever the case may be. But now you're living your life because the ones that you care that are watching, you are genuinely changing, and it feels good to be motivated for the right reasons. It feels really good. I love that for you. Over on their side, whoever there is, whoever the other is, I'm telling you, they can't see right now. This is the Four of Cups. This is having something there for them, having the availability for shelter, having the availability for somebody to care, and they can't see it right now. These are very different energies. April, honey, email me, please, 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 please. I would love to talk to you. What's funny is that healing comes out of this one way or the other. I just did a thing about Aries. Was it Aries? Yes. Often people think it's like grieving and then the star card, and it's actually the other way around. When we begin to heal, it's when things are brought to our awareness, and then we have to feel the feelings that go around that. And for everybody, that's going to mean a different pace, and everybody, that's going to mean to safely feel in a different way. Sometimes numb was survival mode for other people. So feeling their feelings is like, sounds like a big duh to some people. Demonstrative, learn to emote at an early age. To other people, it's freaking terrifying. And if you're a Gemini placement, Geminis sometimes can want to think their feelings, not because they're cold, not because they don't care, not because they're not capable of intense feeling. Of course they are. It's because it feels safer. So this way, if hope doesn't come in and save the day, they're not as disappointed and they don't feel let down. They don't feel as vulnerable to the crash. I feel like I'm talking very like to a lot of Gemini moons. That star card is really important. The star card comes first, and then the healing and the grieving and the feeling really comes after. But it's coming. What you have available to you now and what might be around your energy already, and if it's not, it's coming. That is the Six of Cups. And while some people call this soulmate, and it can be depending on the reading, and listen, we have to clarify. I see this as inner child healing. And I love this for you, Gemini. Gemini is a sign of the childlike curiosity. They're funny, they're playful. It's the house of where we find early childhood siblings, friends. It's the first time we kind of socialize and see ourselves in the mirror of how somebody else reacts to us. So not only is it that other interaction and the people that are put, you go to school with these people because you're put there because for geographical reasons. You have these siblings because you are just kind of in that household. These are not the people we choose, but these are the people who flavor our foundation. Because of that, also, it's not the people we choose. Often they're the source of our first scars, our first wounds, our first feelings of rejection, our first feelings of comparison to another person, or pressure to remain the person that's being, praised. Like somehow when that adult is praising you, or that, whether it's a teacher or parent or grandparent or whoever, step parent, when somebody is praising you, you feel like you're responsible for all the adult's feelings. And if you don't mask, man, it's a lot. It's coming in as a lot. Hi, Juan. This one is healing. This is healing, and it's almost like an observation. And I said, the star comes first, the healing comes first, and then the feeling. Look how she's observing. She is observing interactions in her childhood, acknowledging. Sometimes we have attachments to friends that we formed because we lived in a certain neighborhood, or siblings or cousins, early people. And there's a lot of pressure on social media, whatever. How many people can say they still have the same friends for 30 years? That's not a flex. That's not a flex. Hey, listen, if you have a couple of friends for decades after decades, I'm happy for you. If you like it, I love it. But it's not a flex like I'm better than you because I still surround myself with the same exact people that I got dumped into with no choice about. So sometimes there are people that we grew close to because at the time we're both surviving through the same thing. And how you choose to grow will be different than other people, right? So let's say that as a sibling or a really close friend, and you survived similar parent issues, you survived similar neighborhood issues, you survived similar socioeconomic issues. And that felt like a bond that no one would ever break. And then at some point you grew apart because the other person didn't grow, they regressed. Or it doesn't have to be a bad habit, like an illegal habit. It could be a bad mindset. It could be straight that they still gossip and want to spend hours talking about what other people are doing with their life as per social media or what they heard. And you're like, oh my God, I'm taking on the world. I'm going through my scars and pouring salt in them and sewing them up one by one. I cannot sit here and have a conversation about like fodder for gossip, especially because I know that I've been one of those people. I don't want to feed the energy. And then they're offended. Or, you grow apart and you no longer participate in abusive cycles, toxic cycles, and your refusal to participate in them is somehow offensive or, a critique on how they are choosing to live their life. Things happen and it feels like letting go. It feels like without judgment, like you can understand, oh, I understand exactly why that person is the way they are because we grew up the same way. But now it's time to let go a little. And it doesn't mean cutting them off completely. It just means for a while, maybe not exchanging, not pretending, and not judging and not labeling, but a simple observation of that was not okay. And now I know it's not. And I can't unknow that it wasn't okay. On their side, the Ten of Wands, this card has come up for every reading today. Either in the main reading or the clarification. Absolutely come up. The energy in between these two is the High Priestess in reverse. That makes total sense to me. This person, this is a different Ten of Wands. Like the Ten of Wands in the Light Seers deck, the swords are the birds and they are represented by flying over her head. It's a release. They're flying away. This is a Ten of Wands where they're choosing to still. Look how pretty it looks, right? It looks like it's supposed to. This looks nice. That hurts. And she's still picking. This person is not done breaking free from toxic cycles, indoctrinated cycles, what have you. Again, we're not labeling and we're not judging. It's just what it is. Now, this being the card that is created by these two energies makes perfect sense. When this comes up, at first you're going to feel like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. That feels like a breakthrough. This is going to help me move forward. Now I'm going to go into 2023 without that, thinking that was my fault, that I had to keep attached to it, or that you had it blocked out before, and now that you see it, this is huge, right? But it's a lot. And so this is like, I'm good for a while. We're going to hold. We're going to stay here. We're going to work on this. We're going to do it slowly and gently so that we can actually feel our feelings, because that is so important for you, Gemini, right? So this isn't you have no intuition. This isn't you're being dumb and ignoring your intuition. This is safety. Right now, we're good. We're working on this. We're going to work on it slowly. Please don't give me any more epiphanies right now. For them, they are ignoring what they know because they're not there yet where they have awareness of things. That's what I'm feeling. And again, this could be the other part of you that you're trying to shed. This other energy, this could just be not anyone in particular, other than the part that you're trying to step into or the part that you're trying to shed. Most important relationship we have is with ourselves. Our wounded child and our higher self. And somewhere in between there is us. Always trying to get to that higher self and not leave the wounded child behind, right? I don't know where that came from, but I should say that more often. In the upcoming energy, we have the Nine of Wands, and this is such a beautiful card. But in this Nine of Wands, we see the scars, we see the tears, right? There's a reason for the defensiveness, because Nine of Wands is defensiveness. There's a reason, but after the safe exploration, after this life-changing Emperor energy we're stepping into, and the healing and the exploration and doing it in a safe way, which I want to hug you. And if you're doing that, then I'm so fucking proud of you. This Nine of Wands in reverse. I say this all the time, but if you're new here, thank you and welcome. And we go through different phases, and those phases are completely appropriate. And sometimes we go into that phase where we first enter awareness about maybe shit we took that we shouldn't have, or boundaries we didn't have. And we're like, oh, that was the old me. I've done it. Like, that's the old me. I killed her. She was stupid. I don't let people walk all over me like that. We're in warrior phase, and that warrior phase is going to take us to the next phase. She or he is, or they are going to protect us and make sure that we take the doormat off of our back. We need it. We need it. We need that warrior phase sometimes to walk through from one moment in our life to our next. And then once we have those walls up and it's been safe, you created safety for the inner core to relax a little bit and feel and see. Because I'll tell you, when you have to come face to face with what has hurt you the most, especially when it's a foundational hurt, you feel real sensitive and real tender. Those walls are effing necessary. They just are. I keep forgetting I'm on my own channel and I can curse. Those walls come in real fucking handy. And you have to protect that warm, gooey inside. You have to create safety, especially because Gemini placements often did not have hope or safety afforded to them like a regular staple or a regular basic need as a child. So the safety within which you need to process is so important. If you put up a wall, if you put up a boundary, and other people don't understand, quite honestly, that's a them problem. Especially if you need to stay safe. That has to be paramount. I said what I said. Once you've had a little time feeling safer, working on that inner core strength, healing things, mending things, we feel a little bit more steady in here. Now we can start to lower the boundaries just a little. We're still watching. We're still careful. We can feel a little less defensive. We can let a little people, because we know even if they go to say something that'll trigger us, we've worked that out for ourselves in a safe, slow manner, that their words hurt less, that their words are less triggering, that their actions are less likely to make us react, right? Because you slowly and safely were able to just change the inner core of it instead of the reaction. It feels less tender on the outside because you had all that time with the boundaries and the walls and the defenses that were absolutely fucking necessary, because warrior mode is sometimes is necessary. On their side, they have the death card and it's in reverse. It feels like wanting a second chance, obviously. Wanting to bring something back to life, and we'll clarify and find out what that is. What we have in the center is the Page of Swords. This is a very scholarly Page of Swords. This is not the wand. It's funny because in this deck, it's the Page of Wands that looks like the internet spy. This is a very scholarly Page of Swords. But they are in a beginning. They are in a beginning that feels like they've reached the end of the beginning. Let me explain that. It's scholarly. There's a lot to learn. And it feels like for a while, the fact that you're like, well, I'm just learning this. I'm in the beginning stages of this. It may feel coming up, and that's the energy between the two of you. Like with that dandelion in the face where it's already blowing away, that beginner label, that safe place where you're learning, it may feel like that time is fleeting and you're going to be expected to know more. And you're going to have to go make the move. And that's all I can hear is the move, right? They feel like they're going to have to make their move and you're going to have to, like, starting all over again sometimes is so great and so refreshing and so liberating. Let's clarify. Normally I don't clarify that center card, but I think I'm going to. I'm trying to decide what I want to clarify with. Not those. Let's do oh no, we're going to do these. There's a reason behind this, people. I'm hungry, but I think I'm set in 45 minutes to do Cancer. What is Cancer set for? Oh, it's 7:15. I screwed that up. Give me 1 second. We're going to move Cancer because that's not happening. Give me 1 second because Gemini, I want to give you all the time that you need. This is important. Here we go. Okay. There we are. Thank you, Gemini, for being patient. Okay. We're clarifying now. I thought I I was doing everything so fast and talking to the kids and sending the emails, multitasking as usual, with a lot on my mind. And so I meant to put Cancer at 8, and instead I like doubled up my time. And I'm surprised YouTube wasn't like, hey, dummy, you can't be 2 places at one time. But they don't. Oh, I like that for you. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That's them. This is you. All right, and now we are clarifying. That's interesting. We are clarifying the present energy. I'll be right back. For them now. Oh my. They're feeling it. Listen, whether this is you shedding the old version of yourself or whether there's somebody that just kind of necessarily cannot be catered to while you're going through this very important transition. And this Gemini Mars transit, it's a big deal. And the last time Mars was in Gemini for like this long was World War II. A little while ago. So this is a very big transit for Gemini. You just went through your nodal axis, Gemini, Sagittarius, before that was your turn, before it was Taurus and Scorpio. And you didn't get much of a rest before this came along. So there's been a lot of changes just in the last couple of years in general. If this is a person that you've been dealing with and you let someone in and out, or maybe your empathy, because your understanding of what it's not like to feel safe, your understanding of what the trauma response behaviors are, you're feeling not lucky or not wanted or not favored, makes you sometimes have too much empathy for somebody else you also see as the underdog. Maybe there have been times when you've settled or felt a lack of self-value that allowed somebody to go in and out of your life, and now you feel trauma bonded. Because that earlier thing I was talking about, that was guided, because it makes even more sense now when I went into that whole speech about how, we don't really think about it, but these friends that were like, there's some kind of, you get a badge or a trophy when you stay friends with the exact same people for 30 years. We didn't choose that. We were dropped into that via neighborhood, via family, via whatever. When that is happening, we are trauma bonding. And so there's somebody here that you may have, I think this is for actually a good deal of you. And again, especially I'm feeling Gemini moons, but Gemini placements, and this could include Gemini Venus, because this is important. There's some trauma bonding going on there. And this person, you don't have to have known them from childhood. It's just that If there's any lack of safety for Gemini placements as children, a contemporary, a peer who also has suffered from a little lack of safety or a little lack of basic needs being met or hope, even that dreamer curiosity thing that kids are supposed to have, you are going to find a peer that feels similarly. You'll feel less judged around because they might be having the same problems or similar problems. At some point, you might grow apart. But what it did was teach you at a really early age to associate and keep yourself in the company of other people that are struggling like you, so you won't feel less than and you feel a little safer around other people who know what it's like to not feel safe. Whether that's logical, whether that's pragmatic, whether that ends up being true or not, it's often a product. It's often just a product of how we're taught to mask and survive early on. Now, this person, again, does not have to be from childhood, but it's the fact that you were taught how to do this, that it's so nuanced and you acclimated to it so quick that you probably don't realize that it's something that you do. And why would anyone do that on purpose, right? As you are moving into this gorgeous energy, which I love, love, love for you, Gemini and Gemini placements, and third house sun and third house moon. I love this for you. You can't keep that and stay behind to make somebody else feel better that maybe always haven't made sure that you were okay also. That at some point it may have gotten a little selfish, or just that's where they're at and they're like, without trying to put labels on it, this might be somebody who has hurt you. And I feel a very big like back and forth. And the thing is when it's bad, it's probably real toxic and it's probably real hurtful. And when it's good, it feels like you breathe a different air with this person that anyone else could understand, that they know you. And like when it's good, it feels so good because that's the part of both of you that are trauma bonded. And trauma bonding can keep both people in the relationship very stuck. Because at some point, the idea that somebody gets better, the idea that somebody gets less toxic feels real offensive to the other person. That might not be a Gemini thing. That's probably a person thing. That's probably like a human thing. But if you've been in a toxic relationship with somebody, but when it's good, it's so good. And there could be a little resentment and a really not wanting you to do better, because do better to them means without them. There's always the room for them to grow and glow up as well. That is their choice. They're not seeing this right now. That's not your responsibility. We mistake being kind to somebody who's like, because we don't want to kick them when they're down, with enabling ourselves to stay at the same level. And that if you've tried to help and they don't want it, you can lead by example. That's not kicking them when they're down. You not staying in a place that keeps you toxic, and other people that are attached to you, that are watching, that love you, that depend on you, that are more helpless, possibly younger or much older or whatnot. It's not your job to stay where you're at to make them more comfortable. And that's not the same as kicking somebody when they're down or feeling like, who am I to judge them? Look at the mistakes. Look at my fuck ups. because of my childhood trauma, right? There's a slight moving away, and I this person's going to feel it. Why wouldn't they? You're amazing, Gemini. You have the Hermit in reverse to clarify your Six of Cups, that childhood healing. Oof. You have the Hermit in reverse. You may be somebody who hides their own progress because of the backlash. I don't know who this is for, but I just heard it so clearly or saw it so clearly that, oh, now you think you're better than me. Now you think you're better than us. Look at the big fancy words. You're not better than us. You're just like us. I'm hearing that. I don't know who that's for, but it gave me the icks. And also, makes me mad. It makes me want to go like, who's saying that to you? Email me and I'm going to go beat him up. My out of bounds Cancer Mars and my Aries moon just cannot. Watch good people, and yes, I said good people who have been through a lot and are trying, get trampled on or pulled back in. This Hermit, it's time for you to stop hiding your progress because of what other people have to say. You know, I was talking to a friend that was saying, I'm just going to go into the holidays this year with the like, yep, I do all this stuff. Yep, I use the word awakening. Like, yep, what are you going to do about it? And nope, we don't agree on anything anymore. And I said, I remember feeling that way. And now I just keep my happy ass home because the thing is that they're going to talk about me either way. So, and I'm okay with that because that's not a me problem. That's a them problem. And it took me a real long time with a 10th house sun caring about reputation. And a Cancer 10th house sun that has a problem with attachments to let go of that. This might feel somebody who's got like Gemini placements at the top of the chart where they feel like everybody's always watching. They can't hide. You're going to walk away. But look at this. Look at this. Look at this, Gemini. It's justice. And justice doesn't come in one way. It comes in multiple ways. Do we see that? You're going to walk away from what no longer serves you, and there's justice, and you are done hiding. And you're not going to prove anything to anyone either, because those people don't want you to prove anything to them. Do you hear me right now? People who tell you and assign you and diagnose you as a terrible person, too big for your britches. That saying is old as dirt, and I don't know why I just heard it and said it, but I did. People who want to assign you and diagnose you as helpless, terrible, they're not wanting you to prove that wrong. They're quite comfortable in believing themselves right. And, you could bring a congressional award, show them your bank statement, and pictures of your happy life on social media till the cows come home when you get there. I promise it won't matter. I promise it will. They are not looking for you to prove them wrong. In fact, they will do anything they can to trigger you so they can be proved right. They'll help that hot mess express on its way. And they're not doing that because they're evil. They're doing that because that's how they know how to work out of their wombs. Stop trying to prove to people that you've changed, because the people that believe in you, you don't have to prove shit to them. And the people that refuse to believe in you, you don't have to prove shit to them either. Those that matter won't mind, and those that mind can't matter. You can't allow them to matter. Man, Gemini. On this side, I was going to go eat a piece of cheese between Gemini and Cancer, but I'm pretty sure I just talked through my piece of cheese. They've got the Seven of Pentacles. They feel like they're waiting for something that they're supposed to have. It's a little bit of entitlement and also impatience at the same time. This made me sad to get on top of this 10 of Wands, where they are actively participating in their own woes, in their own weight, in their own stuff, right? They just can't see it yet. They're not doing it on purpose because they want to be a victim. That's just not where they're there yet. Again, we're not going to judge or label. We're going to acknowledge. Those are all different. When this card comes out on top of that, it's like they don't understand, because they think that they are who they're supposed to be. They think that they have done the work. They think doing any more work would make them weak. That's what I just heard. Or admit that they were wrong, or take fault, or any of that stuff. So they're a little impatient and feeling a little entitled, probably a little disillusioned, and a little cognitive dissonance to what part of their life they're actually participating in, to not make it feel like a place, their life isn't someplace they love being. So instead, they might be projecting. People with guilt project quite a bit. Transference happens with people who carry guilt, that it doesn't feel safe for them to examine the guilt. So transference is their survival tool. You don't have to judge them. You don't have to label them. You also don't have to engage. They have the Two of Cups and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. They feel like they're losing somebody they're supposed to be with. I think that they think that they were supposed to be with you, because as much as they want to keep you where they are, so that where you are is with them, they do it in an unkind way many times, not all the time. But you've stayed. You taught them that they could sometimes. And I love you, Gemini, but I'm saying that out loud. And while they tell themselves that they're a little bit of a catch, they kind of know they're not. And they feel like there were times, they were genuine times. They know that you showed them kindness. They know that you did not look at them with eyes of judgment when every single other person was. They know that. They're not going to give you the satisfaction of telling you that, though. So no matter what they're showing, they are feeling the loss of what they felt was an even match. But for you to be an even match to them, you have to stay someplace that was toxic for you. We're not doing that. This Nine of Wands. Let's clarify that for you. The Moon. You're softening your defenses. They're not down all the way. There's been a lot of truth. There's still truth coming, and you kind of know. But again, you have that High Priestess in reverse up here. So you're like, I've got enough truths to deal with and stay safe right now. So I know that there's something else coming. Not totally ready for it. I think you will be ready for it come spring, when there's a release and a backing off of your sign, because Pluto's going to come into Aquarius. That's trining your sign. When Pluto comes into Aquarius, it's right after, I believe, Mars left. Don't quote me on those dates, but it's around the same time. So you're going from one thing to another, and when a planet first ingresses, that's kind of when we feel a lot of punch and pack to it. There'll be a place in the summer of 2023 where you're going to feel more comfortable taking in more truth. And I'm going to be corny. The truth is going to set you free. It's going to set you free from any guilt or pull. And there is going to be pull, because I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, you're totally over this person. You never feel guilty. You never feel pulled back. You never have a bad moment where you think it'll just be easier to give in and be with somebody where I feel better because they're not, we can be miserable together. We do that well. Maybe they've changed, whatever it is. And I know that is going to happen because there's going to be a moment, probably in March, where there's going to be some self-sabotaging mindsets that are going to attempt to sneak in. Some old habits, some old people, things that are not great for you are going to rear their ugly head. What I love here is that you're not letting it feed your head. You're not letting it feed your head, and you know that there is more truth for you. I might clarify that one last time, because I think that you can get through that. And there's a lot of feeling going on. And I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be wildly unpopular. Sometimes when we have to feel a lot of things, right? There's a cycle. Something happens in childhood that you didn't fucking ask for. No one teaches you how to deal with that. You didn't fucking ask for that either. You develop survival tools as a human being with a brain that's going to do what it's going to do to keep you safe, because that's how the human brain works. Those survival tools also come with trauma manifested behaviors, self-medication, numbing because it's safer. However you do that. Then you start to grow your environment, and you will surround yourself with other people with sometimes similar toxic behaviors, because it feels less hurtful than being around other like normies that had good parents or had great childhoods or only had mild stuff. And that may be what it feels like to you, that you feel like are judging you, whether they're telling you that they are or not. This becomes like a masking tool to, at PhD level. Masking becomes trying not to feel, or and work through that childhood trauma that you didn't ask for, that no adults protected you from. So in order not to feel that, we may self-medicate. We may numb ourselves, whether that's participating in things that are dangerous for us, like people, affairs, just shutting down our feelings, not letting ourselves be in love because we feel like we're just going to be toxic for the other person. There's a smorgasbord of behaviors that you could choose that are kind of harmful to you, but you're doing it to keep safe because your brain is doing that. And what we do is we don't want to slip back into self-medication. We don't want to slip back into being numb, and we don't want to slip back into bad behaviors that make us feel bad and people around us feel bad. Like, of course not, right? So what we do is we keep on trucking, we keep on moving, we mind over matter, and we don't explore the things that made us feel this way to begin with. We never completely unpack so we can leave it behind. We continue to take it with us and it builds. When the temptation comes in, you may have a moment of weakness, and I am begging you not to judge yourself for that. Because if that moment of weakness also came with processing something that's been shoved down for decades or a decade or 5 years or from last year or from last month, and you were able to process something that's no longer on your list of must self-medicate, must participate in behaviors that keep me from even thinking about that, then you can't be that hard on yourself because you'll get back to where you need to be. You will. And you know how I know that? Because you'll do that if you don't bring the guilt with you. I don't know and I don't understand, and it makes me crazy that humans are expected to be on good behavior and get rewards for good behavior while being told that the bad behavior that comes from processing the stuff that they didn't fucking ask for is somehow a reflection of their bad character. It makes me crazy. And while I'm not saying please indulge in things that are harmful for you by any means, I'm saying we all have moments of weakness. Sometimes that moment of weakness is reaching out to somebody that we know is toxic for us. Again, smorgasbord. Choose your poison. But my point is that when we're there, the thing that'll bring us back into the cycle again and again, where it feels helpless, where it feels hopeless, Gemini needs something that has a devoidance of that hope hinges success in your life, in health in your life. Is the guilt. The guilt will bring you back into that cycle. The guilt of processing. Do not feel guilty for processing. If you're doing what you need to do to change, if there is a moment of processing and that moment was hard and there was a weak moment, if we want to call that a weak moment, processing is brave and hard. I don't see it as weak, but we can call it that because that's what society calls it. And if there's a weak moment, it's not that one moment that will keep you where you don't want to be for the rest of your life. It is the guilt that you will spoon feed yourself afterwards. So I am imploring you, if temptation comes knocking back down, some of you will bat it away and some of you will have the conversation or do the thing that you don't like yourself doing. Don't bring guilt and shame and judgment into it. They have no place in healing. Fuck shame, fuck guilt, fuck judgment. They're going to take you backwards more than the thing that you did or the feeling that you felt ever will. I said what I said. This Death card in reverse. They're the Eight of Pentacles. They are not doing the work and they are feeling stuck. They do want new stability. And this could be you. But it's feeling stuck right now for them. I don't think it's an accident that this is the death card in reverse. This is somebody coming back, and you have the devil on your side. For some of you, it's going to be the environment around you that fosters the healthy processing, or the moment where we give in to what that used to look like. And if you do, just don't assign it guilt. Just leave that shit at the door. I said if any of these readings needed it, I would do an extended reading. Gemini, I am off to do Cancer, but you have earned yourselves one extended reading. So I will get that out either New Year's or the day after New Year's Day. Not New Year's Eve, either the 1st or the 2nd. I will get that out for you because we need to look further into all of this. The bottom line is that Emperor energy is there for you, and I love it. And you deserve it. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Phil. I think that you're amazing, and just remember that like people who you feel the need to prove wrong often really don't want you to. And the people who don't need you to prove anything, you don't have to prove anything to them, but really you don't have to prove anything to anyone. I love you now. You love you, Gemini. Hopefully I will see you Friday night. If I didn't mention it, I'm having a giant special. If you did not get the email, and I sent out a letter of gratitude just for the community. If you did not get an email and you would like one, either leave me a comment when this is over or go to Susie Evolutionary and go boop right down to the contact. So that you get on my mailing list, because I only have like 270 on my mailing list, but I have like 600 subs. So, or more than that. So I'm probably missing a few people. I will see you soon. You're welcome to join me at Cancer, and I hope to see you Friday night when we're, it's not the 31st, it's the 30th, but we're going to be celebrating New Year's on Friday Night Tarot and Soul Navigation. Bye.